when heads of state and governments and their ministers, academics, intellectuals and other leading lights gather to ponder some of the most stubborn challenges facing the world today. This year's G20 Summit will be held in Rio de Janeiro on the 18th, which is the 18th and the 19th of November. But 25 years into its existence, what has one of the most expensive and lavish gatherings actually given the world? Newzroom Afrika's Vuyo Mvoko finds out.
Back in 1999, the global economy was under threat, thanks to preceding debt crises in countries like Mexico, Russia, as well as several Eastern and Southern Asian nations, all of whom couldn't settle what they owed and had their currencies devalued. The situation brought about considerable misery to those who were owed and thus had a lot to lose. Among them, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Italy, Canada, and Japan. 19 nations were identified and brought together, joined by the European Union, to form the G20 and to future-proof the world from such crises.
I would definitely say that in terms of managing global governance, it has done quite a great job, despite us having had the 2007 and 2008 global financial crisis that we witnessed and its recent impact on the entire global economy. But then again, I mean, the mere fact that we saw the rise of the BRICS and its ambitions to challenge the global financial architecture also says that there are certain failures that are to be found within the G20.
10 years after its formation, the G20 declared itself the primary venue for international economic and financial cooperation. By this time, its status had been elevated. Heads of state, and no longer finance ministers, were now leading these annual summits. Also part of the conversation were the world's leading lenders, the IMF and the World Bank.
So I think some of the tangible outcomes that we need is there needs to be further reform of the international financial architecture. Specifically, how do we efficiently, so in terms of speed, how do we provide efficient debt restructuring? How do we provide deep debt restructuring? And how do we create a mechanism that really does work for not just the African continent, but developing countries?
There's also an outcry that says much of the global financial policies are not representative of the needs of Africa and other developing countries. Hence why, again, we are seeing the emergence of the new development bank. We are seeing the BRIC again and again. I keep on saying there's a need to reform the global financial architecture.
No sooner, discussions went beyond financial crises and the international finance system. They ventured into other hardcore matters that were making or breaking economies around the world. These ranged from trade and aid to health and wealth, the climate and its changes, social inclusion, discrimination, war and peace. 25 years on, though, the G20 is still not short of critics. In a world of over 8 billion people and at least 193 countries, some frown at the exclusive club's lack of representativity. Without powers to enforce, others say, its elaborate declarations can come to naught, thus making these summits nothing more than talk shops.
I definitely think, in general, it should not be a talk shop. I think we need tangible results.
But even critics agree that without the G20, the world would be poorer. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I am Vuyo Mvoko.